Welcome, Fresh Trackers. Thank you for being here and for investigating how to grow your business and leverage your time by being interviewed. Specifically interviewed on podcasts and radio shows and teleclasses. I'm talking about audio. The reason this is such a hot topic right now is because the podcast industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Listenership is up 21% over last year. In fact, in North America alone, 21% of the country listens to a podcast. That's 57 million Americans, and that's just North America. That doesn't count the rest of the world. So now's the time to hop on the bandwagon because there's so much growth and new people are being introduced to this medium. It's growing so much simply because of mobility. People can listen to their podcasts on their phone, on their tablets. They have favorites. They'll listen while they're walking their dog or while they're mowing the lawn and exercising, often in their car on their commutes. So now's the time to jump on the bandwagon. I have a podcast called Fresh Tracks with Kelly Robbins that I started about February of 2015. And it was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. It's taken a lot of time, and I love my show. I've had some great people I've interviewed on the show. I've been able to express myself and do some shows. It's been phenomenal. However, it's not for everyone. It did take a lot more time than I thought it was going to, in addition to the newsletter and all of the other content marketing that I produce. So I talk about podcasts from a sense that producing your own is not, it might be for you, but it also might not be. So do your homework before you check in, before you start one. However, just because having your own show isn't right for you, being interviewed on a show is right for almost everyone. I spend time looking for guests for my show. I look for the right guests, and there's so many podcasts out there looking and searching for guests who are talented and have some valuable content to share, that I am doing this training to help you get on the bandwagon right now while it's still growing and while there's so much opportunity available to you. Now, I've had some really great guests on my show. I've had Bob Burke, the Go-Giver. I've interviewed Robert Fritz, is one of my favorite authors. There's been a lot of very professional interviewees that I've been able to feature. And I've also, on the same hand, interviewed some folks who did not do very well. And in fact, I've done the work and then haven't been able to air the show because the interview just wasn't quality. They weren't prepared. The information that they sent me didn't match the content that they had to share, and they weren't professional. And the thing about it is if they had done a little work ahead of time, if they had someone help them set their information up, they were great people with great businesses and terrific information to share. It just wasn't packaged correctly. And that's what I'm doing with this training, is I'm going to help you get it set up, get yourself set up so that you can get interviewed and be confident and be in a space where you're selling and sharing your information with people instead of worrying about some of the basic things that need to get done. So very quickly, in this training, I've made it very affordable, and I'm here to help you just launch. And part of what we're going to do is help you prepare 10 questions. When you're being interviewed or pitching yourself to a show, they usually ask you, what are some questions that we'll ask you? 5 to 10. If you can have a base of questions that the questions can't just be, how is my book helpful to readers? It needs to talk about the content and how you help people change their life or grow their business or make more money. The questions need to be artfully crafted so that they match the audience, the people listening, and they tie into you and what you do and what you're selling and how you help people. And there's some thought and skill that goes into that. The good thing is once you get them done correctly, you just tweak them a little bit, if at all, and pick from your pool and send 5 or 8 or 10, whatever the host is asking for, to them, and it's much faster. They need to be done right. The second thing I'm here to help you with is your bio. Your bio should match your talk. For example, if you are being interviewed about public relations, let's say, your bio should also talk about your public relations background. Not that um, you love cats and you wrote this book, and like, it needs to flow and it needs to sell you. My job as the publisher of a podcast is to, I need to sell it and have people listen to it. You do the same thing. You want people to come to your site. You want people to learn more from you and know how to do that. You need to be helping the show host as well as yourself. And it's once you get it done, you can just reuse it or tweak it a little bit. I find that some people aren't doing that, and as a show host, it was very difficult for me to promote them. So I'm going to help you with that as well. And then the third thing we'll do in this training is I'll interview you. It will be a professionally recorded interview. You will receive a copy of it. I will give you feedback afterwards on tips to improve or things that work and didn't work. This can be helpful. One, you'll have confidence because you'll have been interviewed once, so you've got one under your belt. It's a nice boost. And secondly, some shows will ask you for a sound clip, and you'll have one. Well, some don't. Some do. It depends on how large the radio show is or the podcast. But it's nice to have that. So I encourage you, if you are interested in growing your business rapidly, getting exposure in front of possibly millions of people without spending money, being interviewed is a great thing for you to step into. So sign up for the class, engage, step into it. Don't think about it and get all in your head and get nervous. Just do it. I'm here to help. Let's go cut some fresh tracks.